Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video you're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we will still see some showers and even some thunderstorms in the next day or two. But as we head into the middle of next week, things are going to be turning a lot drier and a lot warmer for all. We are going to see a big area of high pressure developing over the top of us, and it looks for at least 3, 4, 5 days we're going to see some proper early summer conditions. Temperatures widely in the high teens, if not towards the low 20s, and for many areas it will be relatively dry. The only caveat to that would probably be across northern and western Scotland, where we could see some cloud and rain riding on the northern edge of the high, but that is something we'll only be able to clarify nearer the time. As we look at the longer range, we'll be able to see this high pressure does stick around for a good sort of 7 to 10 days. Longer term, beyond that, there does come quite a bit of uncertainty. It doesn't look like this high pressure is going to dominate for weeks on end like we can see sometimes during the late spring and early summer, but it is like it will have some decent influence throughout the next sort of week or two. There is a chance, though, that low pressure does try to move back in, either coming in from the west or getting pushed up from the south, which could again bring the risk of more heavy showers and some thunderstorms. But the overall trend, at least for the next week to 10 days, apart from the next day or two, we could still see some showers, is for dry and warm conditions to prevail. So do remember, if you enjoy videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, to start on the live radar, you can see that most areas are pretty dry today, pretty sunny, feeling relatively warm, but not too warm. And the reason for that is we've got some slightly fresher upper air temperatures moving in after the rain we saw yesterday. The remnants of that rain still going across Northern Ireland, and this will slowly clear through this evening. And there are a few other showers around, especially in that southeast corner, where we're seeing a few heavy thundery showers breaking out. Very small pulse storms there. So it shouldn't really cause any major disruption, but if you are underneath them, it might be quite well, it's pretty unfortunate. Could be quite miserable for a period of time. And this is all linked to more instability across in the near continent, which luckily isn't going to be majorly affecting us. We are going to see showers, but not to the extent we're seeing across France and Belgium and Netherlands today. Now, if you look at the temperatures, you can see it is relatively warm, seeing sort of bold yellows and touching oranges in places, which is around average for the time of year. So nothing spectacular, but a lot better than yesterday. But it is going to improve. We're going to see the temperatures probably about 3 or 4 degrees higher than today come around Tuesday or Wednesday next week. Now, if you look at the latest UKV and start on the precipitation, you can see the rest of that precipitation clearing away through the rest of this evening. And as we head overnight into tomorrow, we will see clearer skies, and there could be a bit of a frost in a few areas, as we still do have chilly upper air temperatures. Now, into tomorrow afternoon, we could see some heavy showers spiralling in from the south. As I said, we are going to see some showers around the next couple of days. We aren't going to be particularly dry in many areas. Some may escape it, especially for the Midlands, North England, maybe a bit of sunshine, temperatures rising once again. But for most, we have got some cloud moving in and some heavy showers. This is very well emphasised into Monday, as we do see some more heavy rain in the south, maybe eastern Scotland as well. And then through the afternoon, plenty of heavy thundery showers breaking out, a typical convective May day. You can see, though, as we head into Tuesday, a lot of that precipitation does clear away, and into the afternoon of Tuesday, we still have a few showers around, but generally a lot drier, and will be turning increasingly warmer. As we head into Wednesday, a similar story, pretty dry, and we'll see plenty of warmth. Quite a bit of cloud there initially trapped under the high pressure, but we'd hope that should clear in the hours following Wednesday. You can see, though, a bit of rain across western Scotland, maybe Northern Ireland, and that is due to lower pressure and a weather front riding over the northern edge of the high. You can see, if we look at the mean sea level pressure, high pressure is building in for many southern areas, extending northwards, but you can see a bit of lower pressure is still close by to our northwest, and that's going to allow that precipitation just to ride over the northern edge of the high pressure system, giving perhaps a little bit of precipitation. But if we look at the upper air temperatures for early hours of Thursday, look at that much warmer air for all. Again, nothing ridiculous, no heat wave, anything like that, but around 4 or 5 degrees above average, and we are going to see that reflected at the surface. Now, if you look this afternoon, temperatures peaking around the 16-17 degree mark, around average for the time of year, and it's due to the fact we've got slightly fresher upper air temperatures. Into tomorrow, we are going to see some rain around, but again, could see temperatures peaking around 18 or 19. As we head into Monday, it's another similar day. Temperatures 18, 19 degrees, but some sporadic 12 or 13s out there under some of the heavier showers. But as we head into Tuesday, quite a lot more widespread high teens, if not touching 20 or 21 degrees. And Wednesday is a similar story. Again, look at that, quite a widespread area of 18 to 21 degrees across much of England and Wales, extending towards Scotland. Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland still isn't going to be terrible, but it's not going to be quite as warm, and that is because these areas are more towards the edge of the higher pressure system, allowing thicker cloud, maybe a bit of rain. So hopefully the high pressure does extend further westwards through next week, but at least early on, it could be a little bit cooler here. Now, of course, this only extends out to Wednesday. We are expecting Thursday, Friday into next weekend to build on this warm and dry weather. So temperatures could get even higher. 22, maybe 23 is a possibility, but we're not expecting anything much higher than that simply because the upper air temperatures are nothing exceptional. So don't expect heat wave, don't expect anything crazy, but do expect something quite a bit warmer than it's been recently. Do expect something a lot drier, and do expect this to be fairly persistent. It's not 1 or 2 days and then gone. It's going to be at least 3, 4, 5, maybe even longer. We just can't say if it's going to be longer because that's extending out to also the day 7 to day 10 time frame where things do get a little bit more uncertain. Now, if you look at the latest GFS, this is the 12 o'clock run. It's only just coming out, unfortunately, so we can only have to 276 hours, but to be honest, much beyond that is fairly unreliable. You can still see low pressure is around over the next day or two, and that's why we're still going to see considerable showers. But for Tuesday and Wednesday, high pressure is building in. Now, you can see by Wednesday, high pressure is firmly in control, but it extends its influence through Thursday, Friday, into the weekend as well. For eventually through Sunday into Monday, we could start to see some lower pressure return. So in around a week's time, 8 days time, we could see some lower pressure return, but you can see it's not a big quick transition, which does definitely give there room for the timings to change here, for high pressure to hold on. And eventually we do see a bit of low pressure to our south, which won't turn it exceptionally unsettled, but would bring the risk of heavy showers once again. If you look at the accumulated precipitation here, you can see even though there is some rain around, it's largely a lot drier than it's been recently. Most of this precipitation is either in Scotland, where we could see some lingering weather fronts, or further southwards, where we could see some heavy thundery showers spiralling in. But for the most part, it's going to be a lot drier the next week to 10 days. If you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see at the moment it's nothing exceptional. Still a bit of warm air across Scotland, but for most we're in slightly fresher air. But you can see as the high pressure builds in this week, initially it's building into still the fresher air by Wednesday, and that's why on the UKV the temperatures weren't exceptional, maybe nudging 20 or 21 degrees. But later in the week we could see the 5-degree isotherm move in, maybe even slightly higher, for eventually we could see a bit more chillier air building in with more showers. So definitely looking pretty good over the next week to 10 days, could even better for a longer period than that, but we just haven't got the certainty in that longer range yet. If you do start now and have a look at the ECM, the midday run is just about coming out now, and again you can see low pressure around at the moment. High pressure building in for Tuesday and Wednesday. It's got a big area of high pressure, and you can see it holds on into the weekend for eventually low pressure trying to move in. But actually, by day 9 here, or day 10, we still see high pressure firmly in control, and it's actually drawing up some very warm air from the near continent. Because low pressure is closer by, it does bring the risk again of some thunderstorms and of showers. You can see this here, thunderstorms just out in the Atlantic towards the Bay of Biscay and would be moving in, but it could bring a day or two of very warm conditions here. Look at those overnight temperatures, and by the day, widely into the low 20s, could even push the mid-20s here if we are lucky. If we actually look at the mid-afternoon again, low 20s looking very plausible. And again, GEM isn't particularly high resolution, definitely out to day 9, so likely to be even a degree or two warmer than this if this did come off. And it's all due to the fact that if we look at the upper air temperatures, we're getting towards the 10 or 12 degree isotherm in for southern areas, which would allow those temperatures to get up towards the mid-teens. Sort of rule of thumb I take when we're in the summer months, so peak summer, June through to August, you take the 850 HPA temperatures and you add about 15 degrees to those upper air temperatures. So if we were in the middle of July or through the actual summer months, I would be saying we'd be looking at potentially widely low to mid 20s, maybe even high 20s. But because we're still in May, I'll probably push that down more towards a 12 degree add on there. So we could be looking at maybe mid 20s at best in this sort of scenario. And that's why I'm talking about low 20s overall, because this upcoming week, those upper air temperatures are likely to peak around the 5 or 6 degree mark. And that's why I'm saying low 20s is probably the peak of what we can achieve this upcoming week. Maybe at best we could get to 22 or 23. If you compare finally to the ECMWF, again low pressure involved at the moment, but eventually high pressure is going to be building in and it is going to be looking much better, but eventually low pressure does break through. So the other ones hold high pressure here for another few days into next week, or the following week, sorry. But the ECMWF here firmly breaks low pressure through and does bring fresher air back in. So ECMWF very similar up to day 7, but the last couple of days of the run definitely bringing a much bigger influence of lower pressure, unfortunately. But because it is in the longer range, there is still a lot of uncertainty. If we finally compare to the ensembles, you can see that it's broadly about a degree or two, or maybe up to 4 or 5 degrees above average for the foreseeable future. Not too much spread, and that shows that there's quite strong support for the next 7 to 10 days for the outcome we are expecting, which is this high pressure building in. The next couple of days, you can see there are some quite large precipitation spikes, but into early next week, by around Tuesday, we are looking fairly dry. Could still be some showers around. It's not absolutely bone dry here, but it is going to be dry for most. And you can see the upper temperatures slowly creeping up towards the latter part of next week, and that's why those temperatures could build, and by next weekend it could be pretty stunning indeed. We do see a bit of drop off in the longer term from around 14th, 15th of May onwards, with a pickup in precipitation and perhaps a drop in the upper air temperatures, but I think that is just natural uncertainty coming in the longer term. We can't really pinpoint exactly what will happen. From the looks of those operational runs, it could be low pressure starting to move back in, but I don't really want to call it at this stage just because we have got a lot of uncertainty at that time frame, and it is very plausible the high pressure holds on for longer than expected. You can see the 2 meter temperatures firmly on the rise over the next few days, up towards the high teens, if not touching 20 degrees by the middle to latter part of next week. And remember, the ensembles are looking at the midday and 6 p.m. point. Peak temperatures would be at 3 p.m, so you can only add on at least a degree or two here. And of course, they're lower resolution. So I do think definitely 22, 23, maybe even a 24 or 25 is on the cards. Not guaranteed. I definitely think we'll get to 21, 22, but maybe 23, 24, 25 could happen dependent on the exact upper air temperatures we see and the exact amount of sunshine. You can also see, if we look at the sea level pressure, firmly building that pressure in from around Tuesday onwards, holding on all the way through to the following weekend, before we could see a drop off into next week. And finally, if we compare to the ECMWF, just to get some cross-model consensus, look at that, it supports it pretty consistently. Yeah, you can see again big rise in upper air temperatures over the next week, culminating in some very warm conditions, about 5 degrees above average by next weekend. And then we do see quite a steep drop off with a big rise in precipitation. So GFS had a lot of uncertainty. ECMWF has that uncertainty as well, but it has got a lot more of those runs going more towards average again, and a lot more precipitation appearing around that 13th, 14th of May period onwards. So ECMWF does look like it's a little bit more sure on a cool down and increase of precipitation for the middle of the month, but that is still 10 days away, so we can only really take sort of 7 to 10 days into account. Beyond that, we do have a lot of uncertainty as ever with these longer range charts, so I'll probably not really put too much weight into that yet, but it does show you that the high pressure is not going to last forever, but hopefully we're going to get a good 5 to 7 day spell at least out of this upcoming high pressure system. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you enjoy the warm and dry weather we have this upcoming week. It should be fairly widespread and it should be fairly persistent, so you can get some good conditions outside. First proper widespread warm conditions I'd say we've had through the spring so far, and it's coming in May or early May, and hopefully we'll see more of this as we head through this upcoming May, as we have had plenty of very poor conditions, especially second half of April. So hopefully some good improvements coming in now. As I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.